What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rosie TV. Sorry for the long absence. It's been about 3 weeks since my last video, but I did have a 1-week vacation, and afterwards I was very busy with various different things. But I'm back here today, and we have a big topic to talk about. Paul Pogba's record transfer fee from last year has been broken, and been broken by a huge margin. Neymar has recently transferred to PSG for a total of 222 million euros. This kind of came out of nowhere about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't really think much of it. You know, you see these big players linked with big clubs all the time, but I didn't actually think it would end up happening. I did like that the saga didn't really draw out for the whole summer. It was only about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more. I remember the Gareth Bale saga from a few years ago. Now that played out for about the whole transfer window, and then he was finally transferred in mid to late August. But I have a lot of things to discuss, especially what this means for PSG, what this means for Neymar, what this means for Barcelona, and what this means for the world of transfers. First, I'd like to start off with Neymar himself. A fantastic player, one of the best players in the world, and one of the probably top 5 best attackers in the world as well. He wasn't the main man at Barcelona. He was playing second fiddle to Messi and sometimes to Suarez as well. But now he gets the chance to be the main man at PSG, and we have seen him in a starring role for Brazil, so we know he can perform under the pressure. But I am surprised he left Barcelona. You could see that he was enjoying his time there. He had a very good relationship with Suarez and Messi. They kind of look like best friends off the pitch, and they had a lot of good chemistry on the pitch as well. But as for the transfer market, it is now officially broke. I don't care what anyone says. Transfer fees officially do not matter anymore. If Neymar is going for 222 million euros, then Pogba looks like an absolute bargain. If someone like Mbappe goes for 100 million, that doesn't even sound that crazy anymore. If someone like Eden Hazard leaves to go to another club, why shouldn't he go for 200 million plus? Because Neymar isn't that much better than Hazard. So now if transfer fees officially do not matter. As for PSG, this is a huge transfer for them. They have to perform domestically and in Europe as well. They didn't win the league last year. They were dethroned by Monaco. But it would be a total disaster if they didn't win the league this year. In the Champions League, they have to make a push to the final at least. I compare this kind of to Gonzalo Higuain's transfer last year. It was a huge fee. Obviously not like this extravagant fee, but it's still a lot of money. And Juventus had to make a push for the Champions League, and fair enough, they did. They did make it to the final. This is very similar, but Neymar now has to be amazing for PSG for years, not just for 1 year. They have to be consistently challenging for the Champions League. The similar transfer they had a few years ago when they brought in a huge name like Zlatan Ibrahimovic from Milan. They dominated the league, but in the Champions League, they didn't really get to where they wanted to. Last season, it looked like they were going to dethrone Barcelona. They were going to eliminate them very early in the round of 16, but they capitulated. They lost in that extravagant fashion, 6-1 in the second leg. And funnily enough, a big reason why they lost was because of Neymar's amazing performance for Barcelona. So if you can't beat them, take one of their best players, I guess. Neymar will destroy Liga. He's going to be their best player for years. But as for the Champions League, I'm very interested to see how Neymar plays, how PSG play, and now they're going to have a very, very scary looking team. Neymar on the left, Edinson Cavani up top, Angel Di Maria on the right, Julian Draxler in behind, and then you have Rabiot and Marco Verratti holding. They still have a great defense. It is a scary team. It's going to be a Champions League contender. Unai Emery is experienced in Europe. He's won the Europa League multiple times with Sevilla. Last year, sure, there was a freak incident where they lost 6-1. I doubt that's going to happen again. Now, PSG have to make the push to join the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, and Bayern. As for Barcelona, you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as they lost one of the best players in the world, and now they have a big void in their team. They need to spend big this summer to replace him. Or you can look at it in a very optimistic way, saying, well, they still have 2 of the best attackers in the world in Suarez and Messi. They have someone like Messi who makes everyone around him better. And there's a lot of teams that excel even though they don't have a top 5 attacker in their club. I don't think it's a huge hit to them. They've made a lot of money off of this transfer. And while Neymar is a very important part of their team, you could buy young and see someone grow into a Neymar in a few years. Now, I've looked at 8 different alternatives to Neymar that they could buy this summer. I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but I would like to discuss them, and I'd like to see you guys' thoughts in the comment section below about who you think should replace Neymar. First category of players are players that could immediately replace Neymar. They're already at world-class level. They might not be as good as Neymar, but they're the same age as Neymar or about the same age, so they could get better. I first want to start off with Antoine Griezmann, someone who I believe is the same level as Neymar. He's performed on the international stage. He's performed for Atletico Madrid for many years now, especially in the Champions League. He's someone who could play every position in the front three. You could bring him in and he could slot in seamlessly. I think it'd be a fantastic addition. However, I think this is very unlikely due to the fact that Atletico Madrid are not going to be keen to sell him to a title rival, as well as the fact that they have a transfer ban, so they can't immediately replace him until January. And I do think he's closer to Manchester United and would rather play for them. And I think Atletico would rather him go to Manchester and leave the country. So I'm going to move on to another player, someone who's been linked with Real Madrid all summer, but Eden Hazard is, I think, very similar to Neymar. Maybe not as good, but you could very well argue that he's about the same as him. He is one of the best players in the league as well. I think he'd come in, slot in seamlessly as well on that left wing spot. I think he'd be a great addition to Barcelona. Next, someone who's been highly linked with them all summer, Felipe Coutinho. Neymar wanted him at the club, but now Neymar's gone. I don't think that's going to matter too much. I think Barcelona still want him. He's someone who could play behind the striker. He's someone who could play on the left wing, as we've seen under Klopp. He's definitely not as good as Neymar. He has suffered with some injuries and some consistency issues, but I still think he's a fantastic player. Another one from the Premier League. It might seem a little bit left field, but Christian Eriksen, he is 25 years old, so he's same age as Neymar. I think he's a fantastic player. For me, I prefer him over Felipe Coutinho as a player, especially the last 2 seasons with Spurs. He's been fantastic. He can set up goals. He has an amazing set piece on him. I think he could even score a few goals as well. Might not be that Neymar type player where he's going to take the ball and go past 5 players and score a goal. Valverde might want to evolve the team, bring in Eriksen, who could be your playmaker on that left wing. My next category of players are the younger players that could be at Neymar level in the next few years. They're not in their primes quite yet. First, I want to start off with Paulo Dybala, someone who's had some Barcelona links already. I didn't think he was going to leave to Barcelona this season, but now that Neymar is gone, it's very possible. He's only 23 years old. He's been fantastic for Juve. He could play anywhere in that front three as well. Last season, under Allegri, he played behind the striker. He's had a lot of comparisons to Leo Messi. He's going to play with Messi in the national team, so that could be someone that could build a great partnership with Messi for club and country. I think it's inevitable that he will leave Juve in the next few years, so it might just happen this year, and he might just end up being the replacement to Neymar. We have an Atletico player, Antoine Griezmann's teammate, Yannick Carrasco, who is a fantastic player who plays on the left side of midfield. He's a great dribbler, a very good playmaker, a very good scorer. He's not at Neymar level, but as I said earlier, these players are younger players that could reach Neymar level. He's only 23 years old. I don't know if Barcelona fans would be happy with that. They might need a little bit of patience with Carrasco because of the fact that he's not that world-class player just quite yet. He could be in a few years. And same thing with my next player, Thomas Lemar from Monaco. He was fantastic last season. He's only 21 years old, so you have a lot of time there to build him up to being a world-class player. Finally, I want to talk about the perfect replacement for Neymar, in my opinion, a carbon copy of him, Ousmane Dembele. They have very similar ways of playing, the way they carry the ball, the way they get past opponents. He's only 20 years old, so he has bags of potential. I think him and Kylian Mbappe are the future of the French national team. He had a bag load of assists for Dortmund last season. He does score goals as well. I think Dembele would be fantastic in this Barcelona system. He could play on the left, Messi on the right, Suarez up top, and then they have the money, so you can just bring in Dybala as well. You could play a similar system to what Juve played last year, that 4-2-3-1. Obviously with a Barcelona hybrid of it. Because of the fact that Barcelona aren't as defensively stable as Juve, but you could have Dybala in that number 10 position. You could have a scary front four, and some Barcelona fans might even say that's better than having the MSN if they brought in Dembele and Dybala. Obviously, that's going to take a lot of money, but they have the money. They're already a rich club, and they just sold Neymar for 222 million. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me what you guys think about everything I discussed today. Tell me who you think will be the best alternative to Neymar for Barcelona. Look for more videos in the future, more consistently. Please like, share, and subscribe for more football content, and thank you for watching Rosie TV.